Good evening, everyone. My name is Allison Green, Manager of External Exhibitions and Public Programs at the Art Students League. Thank you for joining us this evening for a very special program, unlike any we have hosted previously. Our additional thanks goes to the New York City Department of Cultural Affairs, whose generous support makes our live talk series possible. On September 1st, the League opened the online exhibition, Remembering 9/11. Nearly 100 League artists submitted artwork that honors this year's significant 20-year anniversary of 9/11. We are now honored to continue this conversation. Tonight, we welcome writers Amina Henry and Guillermo Filice Castro to read original works that reflect on ideas stirred by remembering 9/11. These ideas are from grief and mourning to hope and collective healing. As the poetry is read, you will see each artwork from Remembering 9/11's online exhibition appear on screen. For information on these artworks and their artists, make sure you visit the online gallery available through our website. Please note that tonight's program will not include a Q&A, but we do encourage you to share your thoughts and messages of hope in the Facebook comments throughout this evening. Before we begin officially, I have the pleasure of introducing our two readers tonight. Amina Henry is a Brooklyn-based playwright with recent publications spanning nationally from Brooklyn and New York City to Baltimore to Dallas to Los Angeles and beyond. She has been a member of Clubbed Thumb's early career writers group, Page 73's writers group, and the 2017-2018 Ars Nova writers group. She was a 2017-2018 recipient of the Lower Manhattan Cultural Council Space Residency and is a 2018 recipient of a space residency at Dixon Place. She is an affiliate artist of New Georges. Guillermo Filice Castro is a queer poet and photographer, born and raised in Argentina, currently based in New Jersey. He is the author of the chapbooks Mixtape for a War, Seven Kitchens Press, and Agua Fuego, Finishing Line Press. His work appears in Allium, Barrow Street, The Brooklyn Rail, Columbia Poetry Review, Court Green, Fugue, The Normal School, Pine Hills Review, and many more. He is the recipient of an ESB Fellowship from the St. Mark's Poetry Project. Thank you, Amina and Guillermo, for joining us this evening, and thank you to those of you tuning in as well. Without further hesitation, we will let the reading commence.
Hello, everyone. My name is Guillermo Filice Castro. The first poem I'm going to start with is The Bakery. How your call before it dropped stopped me from going into the subway. How only then I noticed the people gathered in front of the nameless bakery I pass on my way to work every morning. A bare-boned operation inside of what looked like someone's spare room, out of which they sold coffee, rolls, probably bagels. How I often wondered, why would anyone want to stop there? So I never stopped, repulsed by the things I'd imagined. Flies surfing on butter, careless cigarette ashes dusting Dixie cups. How on that morning everything halted and I stopped, joined those staring at the portable set on the bakery's window. How incongruous the images were, soundless, in black and white, words gutted, punched out of us. The next piece also reflects on the same day and pretty much follows up, the timeline follows up the time of the first poem I just read. Our friends. They dropped by at noon unannounced. No surprise here since the phones have died. It's the couple from a couple blocks down, the Puerto Rican playwright and his actor boyfriend, whom I prefer of the two. It's so good. We sit in the living room in front of CNN, not knowing what to say. Should we eat? Do we have any food? Should we order? Are they making deliveries? We don't want to be alone. All the phone lines tied up. We're appalled, dismayed, terrified. I tell him about the co-worker who heard the plane engines vroom above the Fifth Avenue canyon. I tell them how you and I watched the smoke from the roof where landlady's son, knots of people on other roofs looking vigilant as meerkat sentries, our view partially blocked. The shock of hearing my mother's voice after I picked up to check if the line was working. I tell them how we synced our screams into a single wail when the South Tower fell. I thank the couple for coming as they get up to leave. Their visit short. No place is safe. No roof stirred. Must get going. The playwright and the actor whom I like best. And I wonder, is this how healing begins? On the move, but slow, with people you don't know well, an acrid smell coming in, your hands closing the windows, fast, then holding mine. And as we move from one particular trauma to another trauma and on a global scale, which is, of course, I'm talking about the pandemic. The two next poems that I'll reading reflect, they're particularly set in the beginning of the lockdown back in March of 2020. So more or less it covers that March, April period. There's construction going on, still is next door to me. And so this next piece called Essential Workers talks about those workers, the construction workers. Essential workers. The man in vests and masks has returned. Bulldozers and backhoes become de-ghosted on a Monday. Machines on a gravelly beach conceived by hard-headed surrealists that set on making life appear normal. Noise that builds dissonance. A rhythm like a giant sewing machine rips apart the earth. A misshapen crater opens up. under the bluest of skies, only to fill with brown rain the next day. A two-part arm on a poised excavator becomes a long-necked dinosaur named cat that pivots in place as it stays fit by not eating the dirt it consumes. Sirens surge uphill on our street, masks on the men exiting the trucks. Red lights shatter across their faces and the faces of those who, like me, watch from windows in robes and sweats as Earth forgets its big day. The following piece is called Ode to Discarded Gloves, which it seems it's a phenomenon I don't see as much now, but back in the beginning of the lockdown, you would see, especially here in the suburbs, the ground just littered with gloves. So this is an ode to discarded gloves. Praise you, teal ones, clear ones, pink ones, thin mediators between us and the myriad of things trying to kill us. It's always just one of you I spot, unpaired and impaired. A mother's abandoned slap, hand without jazz, condom without G's, deflated in the grass like a jettisoned teenage memory, mourned by sneezewood. More endearing than face masks, your domed cousins from the country of mouth and nose. Ubiquitous jellyfish, mangled on supermarket parking lots. Half of your tentacles still stuck inside. Haven't we all felt this way? Translucent, cast aside, dressed in the latest latex or vinyl. Praise you for one final wave.
Hi, everyone. I'm Amina Henry, and I am a playwright, as Allison so wonderfully introduced me as. Thank you so much, Guillermo, for your amazing offerings. Those poems were beautiful. I'm going to present, or I'm going to read a monologue that I was asked to write several months ago in the middle of the pandemic during lockdowns. And it was it was after the George Floyd protests. And I thought the piece was apt or fit because it's a piece about getting past trauma and figuring out ways to deal with trauma, which we certainly had to do after 9/11. So this piece is called Fine, Fine. What should we talk about? Me, I've been good. No, I don't need help. I'm well. No, I'm not tired. I'm fine. No, I'm not worried about money or work. I'm not confused about how we got here. No, I'm not sad. I'm fine. I'm not thinking about Breonna Taylor. I'm not thinking about Ahmaud Arbery. I'm not thinking about Rayshard Brooks. And I'm not thinking about Elijah Cummings, although did you know that he played the violin for homeless cats? Have you seen his big little brother eyes? Something about those eyes. No, I don't feel haunted. I'm definitely not thinking about racism. I'm not thinking about George Floyd, although 8 minutes is a really long time to die. He was living and then he just wasn't. Like all of us. 1 minute alive, the next minute dead. No, I'm not traumatized. I've been thinking about getting into bubble baths as a hobby. I'm really not thinking about all the Black people killed by the police, all the people whose names I know, and all the people whose names I don't know. I'm not thinking about all the people getting sick and dying because of the coronavirus. I'm not thinking about my uncle or my friend's father or the death numbers that go up every day, an inevitable rising tide. Me? No, no. I'm not thinking about death. I'm not looking at life for the first time in my life and realizing how truly precious this crazy life is. I still waste time. Apple TV is awesome. I'm thinking about learning how to play the guitar. I'm thinking about lighting some incense and doing yoga. I'm thinking about takeout food. I like burritos. I'm thinking about Kanye. Did you hear about Kanye? Yeah, I worry about him. I'm thinking about, well, what do you want to talk about? No, I'm not upset. I'm fine. I'm not angry. I'm fine. I'm not afraid. I'm fine. What's there to be afraid of right now? I'm thinking I might do a sketch. Do you want me to draw you? Really, I'm not devastated or tired of it all, or smoking too much weed, or drinking too much, or screaming into pillows, or crying by the sink, or eating too much, or not eating enough, or thinking about marching outside, or actually marching, or deciding not to march because I don't want to get beaten or tear gassed or arrested or sick. I'm not sleeping too much at all, and my dreams are great. No, I'm not feeling guilty about anything. I told you, I'm fine. I saw this Korean movie the other day, and all I can say is South Koreans know how to make a movie. That's all I'll say about that. No, no, I'm not mourning, I'm fine. Am I lonely? No, I'm fine. I'm just here. I'm just here. I'm here. And actually, I'm a mood Gemini. I'm not broken or sick or crazy. I'm cool, actually. I'm a starburst. I'm alive. How are you? Are you good? Because you don't seem like you feel good. You seem upset. Why are you upset? Do you want me to sing to you? Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Okay? Yeah, yes. I miss you. And I feel weird. I feel deeply strange. I'm a starburst. It's good to talk, though. It helps. Let's talk more. Let's talk all the time.
That was beautiful. I mean, very moving. Thank you. The next piece I'm going to be reading is, it just seems that traumatic events, national events, they make their way into my dream world. The piece that I'm going to read is partially based on a dream I had after the Pulse Club attack. So that's inspired by the event itself and the dream I had as a consequence. Can we get home in one piece, please? I want to scream in my sleep, latch every door on the block as if each led to my bedroom. All the ghosts I've taunted on the dance floor are here. If only they'd let me speak without a mouth. if only they could speak. Once rounds and shots meant just drinks. Please, I want to scream, cornered by skidding tires and high beams into a dark lot. I wait, I pounce. My knife goes into the killer's belly repeatedly and bloodlessly. Metal, goring, grimy sand. More than ever, I am not an animal of peace. Not now. The night under my hooves cools and clinks, empty of stars. Reflecting on other losses, and this time this poem addresses a personal loss. I lost my sister May 26th of this year. And the poem is based on my walks. I'm Argentinian, she is in Argentina, and when I would visit, from the place where I stayed, I walked to her house, and this poem is more or less based on one of those walks where I would get lost on purpose. And hence the title, Going to Your House and Getting Lost on Purpose, for my sister. Where are you? I turn right, photograph the pink store reflected in one giant puddle from the afternoon storm. Clouds pink as well, darker at the bottom, teased into curly, headless sheep. I turn left. The muscly mare in the empty lot gives me the side eye. I dodge the Vespa rushing past, mono-eyed. Above every corner hangs slow voltage moon and no street signs. Every twisted street sings, channels the ocean that's so close. See, right over those shrubs rooted in dunes. Listen, sister, the saltiness on my cheeks is oral too. I'm continuing on with, now this time addressing more current social anxieties, where a simple transaction like canceling a subscription order trigger this all these thoughts. The title of the poem then is, Today I canceled my subscription to the New Yorker. Gloria takes my call, but the connection is quickly lost. Loretta picks up next and, without a trace of an accent behind that name, says she's sorry to hear that and asks if she may ask what the reason is. I want to tell her I am sorry too. Want to say, it's been a weird day, Loretta. More and more I am drawn to negative energy, as if every person in distress in the world needs my help. Like the two guys fighting at the bus terminal to whom I screamed, "Stop, stop, stop," as I made my way down the escalator, the best part being they stopped, one young, the other old, the hard soundtrack in my ears, deafening everything. See, I have spent my life tonguing chain-smoking men of various ages, as if wanting to be the danger in their lungs. They always dissipated first, fast. Too often have I dwelt near crevices in the melting ice, or written lines like, "Love is a book" by Anxious Huxley, left open on a fake granite table from Home Depot. I also yell at people who want to sit next to me on the bus. But what I'd love to say, Loretta, it's not you, it's me. Something we should print on a t-shirt to sweat through the guilt of ending anything long term. It's just too expensive, is all I can offer. I totally get you, sweet and understanding, Loretta says before she hangs up.
These poems are so good, Guillermo. Yay. So this is actually a poem that I wrote also as an ode to those that died in the Pulse nightclub, which was so tragic. And it's called Sleep With Me, a lullaby for Orlando. And like my first piece, Fine, Fine, which was more of a monologue, this poem is about how to move forward and how to heal. We're in Disneyland. We go on Technicolor adventures. We sing silly songs, serenading the world. We sail to the sun. We collect string. Shh. Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck are our best friends. We simply don't understand numbers like 49, 53. But we can count to 67, and we are so proud. Shh. In this dream, we can't wake up. There is no logic, no reality, no hate or extremism or violence or fear. For supper, we eat salad and soup and sugar cubes. Shh. Minnie Mouse just told us a secret. Hot diggity dog. We take our extra spotty car to the car wash. We drive staring at the extra blue sky. We love each other so, so much. Shh. We've been dancing all day and night in the sand. We are not tired. Our legs feel like rainbows. Our arms feel like stars. We play the same song over and over, and we are so happy and gay. Shh. Every single one of us is special here. Everyone loves. Everyone plays sexy games. No one has to say sorry because no one did anything wrong. We laugh until we are silly because sadness doesn't exist. Shh. Sleep is our sanctuary. We don't need security guards to protect our pulse. There's nothing in this super dream that can harm us. We sigh and snuffle and snore. In sleep, we are as sweet and innocent as snails. Sleep, 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 sleep.
Wow. Oh my God. I'm really moved. Amina, thank you. Goodness. Wow. Beautiful. So going back to what I was saying before in terms of just the sort of that national and global upheaval making, making themselves heard in my dreams. The next poem is entitled Dreaming During the Pandemic. Takes place at a party on a loft, and it's all a dream I had. Dreaming during the pandemic. Who knew there'd be so many people celebrating Justice, the photographer? I feel awkward at first, roaming, pushing really through the fit alone, bustling, overlapping voices, bodies bumping against each other, food going splat on the floor. until a peal of laughter parts the crowd. Mahogany, as she calls herself, twirling in a gigantic beach blanket as a cape. She chortles again when our falsettos break, intoning, "Do you know where you're going to?" In no hurry to leave, I make my way to the back where hors d'oeuvres bake in direct sunlight. A solitary empanada on a tray greets me with its flaky, dark purple crust. My plan was to get a plate and, serve justice. But where's justice? The cop does not know, and in return asks about the shiny trinket on my lapel, and why do I call it boots? And now for something completely different, this is a look at one of our ancestors, 7 million years ago, and kind of like a look at what happened. So the title is First Ape. Forget your arboreal heritage, you with the untamed face. Here's what must happen. Thigh bone elongation, the big toe needing to creep forward before you can get anywhere near capitalism. Follow the whale's example in reverse. An narwhal-sized creature that turned its limbs into tail flips and flippers. Cute, but your brain's too small, hips are wrong. So far from future Homo naledi and Heidelbergensis, never mind Neanderthalensis and their contemporary know-it-all pal, sapiens. So far from paleo diets. Even if you know nothing about fire, everything will still go swimmingly. Your descendants will forge ahead. Trade spears for Trader Joe's. Ice Age for tuna melt, tazoratine, and harpoons. And now, one of the things, it's the last piece I'll be reading. One of the, trying to answer a question directly for a poet, it's always, like, oh. So, anyway, this attempts to answer the question, what does hope mean to you? I ask near the park. And it's dedicated to my lovely future husband. Actually, I'm getting married. We're getting married October 1st. And so this poem is for him. It's, what does hope mean to you? I ask near the park. We're walking as if going gently upstream in a slow vessel. We want to stop at the library before lunch, but are in no rush to get anywhere, really. With our grumbling bellies, most of the people on the street duly masked. The eye doctor has seen you, so we have reasons to feel good. Now you can see much, much better. I keep talking as if by filling my lungs and exhaling words, I'll stop this day from ending. Look, not even the typo of a cloud in the sky. This small and yet sublime act of living, sharing the same subtle march in our chest. Love, we have been spared today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Guillermo and Amina, I would love to invite both of our readers tonight to join me on camera as we conclude this evening together. Welcome back. My goodness. I'm hoping you two have a few more rounds we can do so I can collect myself a little bit before we continue. But wow, thank you both. This has been a really beautiful, it's beautiful work that you've shared. So I want to say to our audience tuning in, pardon me, thank you once again, Amina Henry, Guillermo Filice Castro, for sharing your original writing with us this evening. Thank you to the artists who have submitted work for our online exhibition, Remembering 9/11. We certainly could not have presented this very special program without your art. We do have some information to share with you on where to learn more about Amina's and Guillermo's work. So stay tuned for a moment after this video concludes, because we will provide links to the following in the video and on the online event page. For Amina, look out for her upcoming project with Ars Nova, check out her website, and her work in the anthology 24 Gun Control Plays and other publications, which are available on Amazon. We'll have those links for you. And similarly with Guillermo, find out more about his recent publications with a link we will share from Seven Kitchens Press. Please visit our website, artstudentsleague.org, and subscribe to our newsletter for announcements on our upcoming live talks as we continue with our fall season. And follow us on Instagram at ASLNYC to keep up with our events as well. Once again, thank you so much, Amina and Guillermo, for your time and for the generosity of your writing this evening. Thank you to our artists and to our watching audience. My name is Allison Green, and as always, stay healthy.